I'm Dan Drake. This is Front Up on Geno TV and Channel 99. With us today is Holly McGowen, the director of the Alliance for Substance Abuse Prevention.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. And there's an event going on. Why don't we talk about that?
Yes, there is a week-long events going on. It's our annual campaign to call awareness to the issue of addiction and substance abuse, and also we work on prevention for youth substance use.
So there are a number of events, but there are a couple you want to call attention to particularly.
Yes.
One is this event on the 25th.
Yes, that's next Wednesday evening. So it's called a Chat and Chowder. It's going to be a casual. We have Patricia Mitrokostas coming in from the Gosnold agency on the Cape, and she is their prevention director. So she'll be talking to parents and community members about ways to keep youth safe from substance use. And we also, at that forum, be providing our survey results from the Pride survey. So this is a survey that we do every 2 years for 8th through 12th graders, and it assesses youth risk behavior in the schools.
I know you don't want to give it away beforehand, but is there a trend?
Well, actually the trend right now, that seems to be the dangerous trend, is vaping.
Vaping?
So, yes.
That's the electronic cigarettes?
Electronic devices, and they vape liquids in them that are fruit flavored or cake flavored, and they have nicotine. They contain a lot of nicotine, as a matter of fact. And ones that don't contain nicotine, you still don't know what is in the liquids.
What
They're
else is
chemicals.
there?
It's all chemical. So it's a dangerous trend because it's not detectable. It's easy to bring these devices to school and do them anywhere without being detected.
And they're available?
They're available online. People can buy.
Are they available in stores?
I haven't seen them.
I mean, I'm not asking you to promote them, but
I'm not off island often.
But as far as you know, they're not available
I don't
here.
know. Yes.
Other than by mail or mail order.
That's my impression, but I don't know. I've never tried to buy one.
What about so the more quote traditional things, marijuana?
Marijuana perception that marijuana is harmless among youth is a very prevalent,
yes.
Which is unfortunate.
What are you doing to combat that perception?
Well, we try to get education to. We try to educate parents because if they're perceiving that it's harmless, then their kids are likely to perceive that it's harmless. And to have, we also bring presenters into the schools who can speak to that issue and talk with youth about it.
Are you ever able to get somebody to talk about it who's been through it?
Who's been through it?
In other words, who has used a significant amount of marijuana over the years and has had an impact.
Negative results. Yeah, what we find is we've had presenters whose lives have been turned upside down because they've used marijuana or alcohol or both as a young person, and then the use has escalated to harder drugs, and now they've become addicted to opiates later in their life, and part of that was a result, they believe, from using other substance when they were young, because it does affect your brain. It can prime your brain in a way that you're not prepared for later. It disrupts the formation of
isn't that the message which is really important to get through?
That's very important to get through,
even though
that's what we want kids to understand, is it's not harmless for you.
Kids think they're bulletproof.
Yes, they do.
And
absolutely.
So how do you sort of overcome that?
And you just keep trying to put the message out there, and also to get the parents to understand that this is true too, because a lot of parents can believe that it's a rite of passage, it's harmless. I think that people aren't necessarily current on the latest science, because it is pretty new. We haven't studied the brain for that long.
There's another event next week. What is that?
So we have a public forum. Yes, the town of Nantucket actually has put that together. We will have a board member on that panel, Aaron Schrader, who is our program executor for ASAP, will be on the panel, and they're, I believe, trying to get public awareness and opinions about how to unroll this recreational marijuana laws that'll be coming soon. And I think what they'd like to do is, instead of having the state dictate how it's going to unroll and happen in our town, they'd like the town, the people who live here, to come up with a plan and be savvy about what the best way to move forward is. So it's really important to attend that forum.
Do you think, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the articles that are going to be on the special town meeting warrant on November 6th, but I wonder how much they either help or hurt the cause of local involvement in the regulation.
Well, what specifically?
Well, there's one I gather that, I'm not all that familiar with them, but there's one I gather which postpones until
the moratorium.
The moratorium on which supposedly gives the state more time.
Well, it gives our community more time.
But it also gives the state, doesn't it, more time to come up with regulations?
I don't know about the state. I think the state still hasn't dictated exactly what they're going to do either. Which
well, that's
makes it all
that's
tricky.
that's what I thought the moratorium was about.
I think. Well, I in my view, I believe that it's also for us as a town to be able to have time to bring articles regarding these laws to the town meeting, instead of just accepting permitting and unrolling it until we know exactly even what the state wants is going to do. So it seems to me smart to have the moratorium at this time, so that we can all move cautiously.
And some of it has to do with one of them, at least, I think, has to do with the medical marijuana dispensary, and I'm not sure quite what that's all about.
Well, there's medical and there's recreational, and then there's a question as to, if you approve medical, can that automatically become recreational down the road? You know, we just don't know.
You mean if somebody has a dispensary offering?
Yeah, how do you draw the line?
Yeah.
It just gets to be so tricky. So I think that we have a lot to look at before we move forward.
But it's pretty much inevitable.
It's inevitable, but you know, do we want to have a say in, you know, how many dispensaries? Where are the dispensaries going to be located? I mean, that would be smart, I think. Planning.
Where the marijuanas are going to be grown.
We don't want it next to schools, probably. You know, do we need as many marijuana outlets as we have liquor stores? Probably not, because actually we have more liquor stores per capita than the entire state. And I think it could also be, I'm not positive on this because Aaron would know this statistic better than I do, but I think it could be even nationally. It's a really large number that we have. So I think we need to be careful.
So what is the I mean, you have a message, a banner at the top of this.
So every year.
Future is key.
That's right. Your future is key, so stay drug free. Every year there's a different slogan for the Red Ribbon Week campaign. So that is this year's slogan.
The students here don't have a lot of time. High school students particularly don't have a lot of time to spend really even listening to what's going on in the world around them. As I understand it, they're, whether you call it overprogrammed or just
they're busy,
way programmed. How can you what can be done differently to reach the high school student age population? Is there anything that in your mind could be?
Well, one of the programs that ASAP has been working towards with the schools is implementing a prevention program that goes from 3rd grade all the way to 12th grade. And it's a program that is Common Core aligned. It's been around long enough to be evidence-based. And the way that it works, it isn't like a former DARE program where it said, you know, don't do drugs and talked all about drugs. This is more of a social emotional learning program. It's building coping skills, teaching resilience, communication. So it's a really good wraparound program, and it grows with the student. And it even has a component for parents and a component for when teens are getting ready, preparing after graduation from high school and entering college. So I think if we were to adapt this kind of a program, it could be really beneficial in terms of a prevention strategy for our community.
Where is that in the process?
Well, we're in communication with all 3 schools, and we're constantly having meetings to see how this could be implemented. And it's a lot to juggle for the schools, and who would teach it, because of course the teachers have a full plate. So we're I think progressing towards this. I'd like to think so anyway.
2 years, assuming things move ahead, but 2 years down the road,
I
you
think we could get it done within 2 years if the schools can find the time.
What else? What else is happening on the?
The other thing that's new for ASAP is we're developing a youth leadership program. So we had a kickoff this summer, and Brian Friscotti, who is also is the crisis interventionist on the island, and he also works with A Safe Place with youth there, has kickstarted this program for us. And what it does is it meets once a week, and the goal is to connect students to their future, so they can pinpoint their passions. There's a life coaching component, as well as a community project component. So the group works on their own goals, and as well as a community project together that they do for the end of the 6-week or 8-week program. And then they graduate, and then we run the program again for another group of students. So this year we've received funding from the Nantucket Golf Club. So we're going to be running another group this school year. And then
What age is that? I'm sorry.
So this is for older teens.
This is the ones who are about to go to college?
No, this would be 14 to 18-year-olds. Yeah, because that's a hard group to reach. But I think if you can help a youth connect to future goals and their desires for themselves, it helps them stay away from substance and things that could deter them from achieving those goals.
In a
later.
way, what you're telling me is, if I'm interpreting it correctly, that the approach that you and the group thinks is most effective is almost a soft approach. It's not, using drugs is bad for you. I mean, that's part of it, but the methodology is to get to people sort of where they live and say, if you want to be a success in life, these are the things you have to think about, and one of them is taking care of your body. Is that a fair characterization?
Yeah, I think we've come a long way with how we address this topic with students, and we try to base our programming on latest research, and so hopefully we're going to be able to reach people.
All right. Well, Holly, you've got a busy week coming up with the programs for the Red Ribbon events, and I think the mission is important. The objectives are even more important in terms of the health, safety, and well-being of our young people. So I wish you well, and thank you for coming on and sharing it with us.
Thank you, Dan.